everyone, it's Jack from WhatCulture.com, your Punjabi Prison guard, and here I am to look at all the ups and all the Wasn't it big? Wasn't it really big? You can even see the ring. It's been 10 years since then. I forgot about it. I forgot how shit it is. It's f***ing bad. Luckily, it wasn't the only thing on Smackdown, but it was looming above the ring constantly, like a ominous prick in the sky. But none of that matters because it's time to look not just at the Punjabi Prison, but at all the ups and all the downs from SmackDown Live. JBL, let's get it on. So first, Jinder Mahal took to the ring, flanked, as always, by the Singh brothers, and they got in, and you could barely see them. They were f***ing miles away. And then Jinder and his henchmen kind of menacingly explained the rules. He was like, listen here, the 4 doors will open for 60 seconds only. And it was a bit rubbish. Then Randy Orton came out and cut a promo about how he's going to win. The whole point was just, I'm going to win, no, I'm going to win. But Randy did it while climbing slowly the outside wall of the Punjabi prison. And Jinder looked really intimidated, as if to be like, he can climb things. It was really weird and stupid. And then Orton got to the top. Fair play to Orton, because that looked awkward. He could only use one hand. He had the mic. He sort of straddled the top. Must have hurt his balls. And then he just did the pose and stuff. It's a down, man. It wasn't a good start to SmackDown Live. Not at all. Next up, our first singles match of the night. Not the best match on the show, but a perfectly acceptable one. Jimmy Uso versus Kofi Kingston. Jimmy picked up the win, and all the New Day crowded around Kofi, and they were in the ring like, oh no, like they looked a bit daunted. I like this feud. A lot of like back and forth between the two teams. Who's going to win? We don't actually know. I'm going to sneeze as well. A lot of back and forth between the teams. This point has been a disaster from top to bottom. Yes, a lot of back and forth between the teams throughout the feud. Don't know who's going to win. Decent match between Jimmy and Kofi. Usos picked up a much needed victory. No complaints. It gets an up from me. Then we had Mike Kanellis versus Sami Zayn. For weeks I've said, look, I don't really like these two paired together in a feud because I want both of them to win the feud. Sami loses all the time. Mike Kanellis needs to win his first feud, so if either one of them loses, I'm going to be a bit annoyed anyway. And, more to the point, this was Mike Kanellis' unannounced TV debut, sorry, just in-ring debut, and it wasn't even on a pay-per-view, it was on the go-home edition of SmackDown, and he won in heelish fashion and stuff, with Maria causing kind of confusion, and then he came out and just went, oh, just punched him in the face, and then hit, I think they called it the power of love. It was kind of it was almost a Death Valley driver, but then he turned him forwards into a sit-out kind of slam. Very, very mid-2000s TNA finisher. But it was a decent match. I've just got to give it a down because the booking sucked. Like, it took all the surprise and the anticipation, that's contradictory, just the anticipation away from Mike Kanellis' debut. And again, Sami Zayn lost again. Man, it is a down. It was bad. Then John Cena came out and cut the promo that people cut every few years in WWE. First it was Hogan, Warrior I think got in on the Patriot Act a little bit. Not the Patriot Act, Then I think Warrior got in on the Patriot gimmick. Undertaker did at one point. Cena has always been red, white and blue. And he explained the rules of the flag match, which suck. Like, whoever gets the flag and then crosses the finish line at the top of the ramp wins and plants their flag firmly in the ground. And he cut, I mean, Cena's delivery on promos is always top notch, but the content was like, these 3 colours, these colours don't run. Everyone's heard that. And then he went, these colours kick ass. And everyone went, woo! America! It was, Then Rusev came out and jumped him. And he put in the accolade. And then Cena tried to get up and fight through it. But then he couldn't. So Rusev, like, the accolade's got over now as a good finisher, which I like. But it's, to me, telegraphed what's going to happen on Sunday. I'll tell you what I think's going to happen. I think Rusev's going to have the accolade on Cena on the ramp. And then Cena's going to, through the power of America, stand up and with his flag. And is it too obvious and is it too cliched? Not for WWE. Both guys were good in this segment, but I found the content of it old-fashioned and jingoistic. So for me, it gets a down. Sorry, John. Sorry, Rusev. Now for my favourite match of the show, a singles match between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair, because the heel kind of women on the roster almost tricked or bullied Shane into pitting those two against each other. Quite clever, because they want to weaken them for Battleground. It all makes sense. Becky loves to fight, Charlotte loves to fight, so they didn't want to back down either. Becky Lynch won clean. She made Charlotte tap out. Very interesting, and a good little push for Becky, I think, as we head towards Battleground. I really liked this. And then the heels jumped them afterwards, and kind of there was a big old beatdown. Lana and Tamina, her kind of henchwoman, they stood tall at the end. Very interesting position for Becky to be in. I think she's now my favourite to win on Sunday. And I don't think she'll win the belt from Naomi, but I think she might, whisper it, she might get frustrated and turn heel at some point. But anyway, this whole thing was good, from the inception of it to the match itself to the aftermath. All good, great stuff. Becky looked great. Charlotte looked great. They wrestled really well. Get enough. I didn't mean looked great as in, I didn't mean she looked hot. I meant she looked great in the ring.
Yeah, whatever.
Let's just get that straight. She looked like she is a good wrestler. Love her. Now it was time for the Fashion X-Files. I don't think this was the best Fashion Files skit they've done, but it certainly was still good. It gets an up. Tyler Breeze was, of course, in the Scully role with a nice, lovely red wig. Fandango was Mulder, and they just kind of mulled over.
Good.
Thank you, mate. The case and who's possibly ambushed them. Michael the Pamphlet Hamflet, one of our writers here at What Culture Towers, as I always introduce him, he came up with a theory last week that it could be American Alpha and they could turn heel. But sadly, that's probably not going to happen now that Jason Jordan is literally Kurt Angle's son and Chad Gable's on his own. But to be honest, it looks like we're going to find an answer at Battleground. There was a note left. They killed Fandango's toy horse, his hobby horse, and left a note in it that said Battleground. So we'll find out who it is, I guess, at Battleground. And hopefully it's someone good. I can't think of any tag teams left. It's not the Ascension. They were already suspected. It's not...
NXT?
The Usos and the New Day are already... Yeah, it could be someone from NXT. It can't be DIY. They've broken up. It can't be the Revival. No. They're already on Raw. It can't be the Authors of Pain. They're the champions. Leave your thoughts in the comments below and help us out, please. And finally, the main event, surprise, surprise, holla, holla, player, player. It was a tag team match between two faces and two heels. Kevin Owens and Baron Corbin versus Nakamura and AJ Styles. AJ and Nakamura had a bit of a tense little kind of meeting before the match where Nakamura said, "One day you will call and I will answer," teasing a match between the two still. Really good, hope it happens. The match itself was good. It gets an up as well. The ups have won, just. And yeah, it was decent. The heels won, which I think they needed to, because Owens and Corbin were at risk of losing a little bit of momentum. Styles and Nakamura are already built as kind of strong guys anyway. And they won by outsmarting and isolating them, so they beat down Nakamura on the outside and then isolated AJ. Owens hit the pop-up powerbomb for the win. No complaints, solid main event, nice build to Battleground, I nearly forgot the name of it there. And yeah, luckily, Smackdown, the ups have just edged the downs. Smackdown was an alright show. It was decent. So that's all for this week on Ups and Downs. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've been Jack from WhatCulture.com. Hobo Joe behind the camera. Cheers, man.
You're welcome.
And we'll see you soon.